So in this video I'm going to show you how to solve some simple linear equations, but first we need to go through some opposites of operations, if you like. This will help us out with our algebra skills. So if we have the operation addition, we need to know what the opposite operation is. And the opposite of addition is when you subtract something or you take it away. So we have subtraction. Now when we multiply something, it means we have groups of something. The opposite of that is when we divide. If you like to think about that as dividing up some cake or apples or whatever it is that you may have. Now when we square something, down here we've got x to the power of 2. The opposite of that is when we square root something. And it will look like this. So there's some opposites in there for you, and it goes back the other way as well. If we have subtraction, we're going to add something. If we divide something, the opposite of that is multiplying. If we're square rooting something, the opposite of that is to square it. Now that's all well and good, but we need to know when we're going to be using this. So I'll show you in some linear equations. And we use this when we're trying to solve linear equations, and when we go across the equal sign, we need to be doing the opposite, and we need to be doing it to both sides. So let's have a look at this first example A. So 4x plus 3 equals 15. Let's have a look at some of the operations we have here. So the first lot we have is where 4x actually means 4 times x. And so if we're thinking about the opposite of that, it's going to be dividing by 4. Now over here we've got plus 3, the opposite of that is going to be take 3. So we need to do these things to both sides. So the first step we're going to have is we're going to take 3 off. This is a lot easier to get off rather than dividing the whole thing by 4. Okay, so this first one is 4x plus 3 take 3 equals 15. Now we need to take 3 from this side as well. So we can kind of group like terms and perform the operations within them. So these cancel out, so we end up with 4x equals 15 take 3, which is 12. Now we're going to divide both sides by 4, as that's the opposite of times by 4. These 4 cancels out, so x equals 12 divided by 4. You can put that into your calculator and it equals 3. So that's that first one. Let's have a go at one that's slightly a little bit harder. It has a couple more steps in it. So over here, let's have a look at some of the operations we have. We have a plus 2 over here as the opposite. We have a divide by 3. So this is going to be a times by 3. And then we have a times by 5 over here, so this is going to be a divide by 5. Now again, this minus 2 is the easiest thing to get rid of, so we're going to add 2 to this side, which means if we go across the equal sign, we're going to have to do the same thing over on the right hand side. So this is going to look like 5x divided by 3, take 2 plus 2 equals 8 plus 2. These cancel out, so we end up with 5x divided by 3 equals 10. Okay, so to get rid of this divide by 3, we need to be timesing by 3. So if we do that over here, also on this side, these cancel out, so we end up with 5x equals 30. Now to get rid of this times by 5, we divide by 5, how we set up here. Divide by 5, and over on the other side as well. These cancel out, so we end up with x equals 30 divided by 5. Put it into your calculator, and that equals 6. Hope that helps you out with some of the linear equations. Remember, you can go back and pause certain sections, and I'll see you in class.